Nerd Skool is a member of the Queen City Podcast Network, powered by Ortho Carolina. Now offering video visits so you can take control of your orthopedic care from the comfort of your home. Schedule online at orthocarolina.com. Ortho Carolina, you improve.
Hey, fellows. It's the first snap of 11 of the season.
Nerds roll.
Lord have mercy. Okay.
I am a super nerd.
Oh, my glasses are broken.
I am a super nerd.
My pocket is infected.
I am a super nerd.
Excelsior.
Nerd?
The Nerd Skool Podcast.
Starring Andy.
My name is Andy, and I am a super.
I'm a former entertainment journalist.
TBJ.
Hi, this is Tiffany. You may hear me be referred to as TBJ.
TBJ, y'all.
I am what I like to call a surprise nerd.
Art Star.
My name is Art Star, aka Dark Star.
He's the nerd Gotham City deserves.
And yours truly, call me Joe.
It's twilight time.
Wanda and Vision. Aren't we a five-pack?
So we've all watched WandaVision, right?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, that's what we're here for. If one of us skip that, then one of us is in trouble.
Okay.
But we watched it.
And I like that. My
it
big.
was
Ooh, this is the correct theory. Just didn't matter at all.
It didn't have any.
I thought about that.
But I feel like your
It's
big
like,
your big theory though, Andy, like is a slow burn. Like it could still be true, but after the next two movies.
I think like most of the theories everyone had will be stuff that's addressed in Doctor Strange 2. They'll save it for the big movie.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, everyone had the theories of who's this, what major character is going to cameo, who's going to show up and who's going to be the awesome dude, and everyone sort of said, forgot that this is a show about these characters. Let the show end about these characters and don't distract with like some big splashy cameo. And what I like about the trolling rumor, like Paul Bettany is pretty good at trolling people, I think. Yeah. And he had the whole thing early on where he was saying, I get a chance to work with someone I've always wanted to work with. And everyone was like, ooh, who's that going to be? Looking through his IMDb saying, who hasn't he worked with that's in the MCU? Who's going to show up? And then it turns out he's talking about himself.
He even said the cameo was going to be him. Which, I don't know.
I didn't hear him say that. I just like that
he said it early in the week. But it's like one of those, to me, I don't know, this whole episode, it was almost like a, I'm trying to come up with some crazy analogy that I always do, but I can't right now. But it's one of those, the whole episode, it was a good episode, but then it was also almost like, I feel like if I was one of those kind of nerds, I'd be like, they just gave us a whole lot of big fuck yous, you know?
No, I don't think so.
Let me explain real quick, bro. This is gonna be a real quickness. The whole Peter thing, right?
Yeah.
They give us and I just read something a few minutes ago where they were saying that he still might be Quicksilver because he had super speed kind of thing.
No. He's from Growing Pains. We've established
that too. Yeah.
He's Boner from Growing Pains.
It's one of those things where I was also thinking about when is too much of an homage or an Easter egg too much, where you get the whole speedy. Is it Speed or Speedy?
Speedy is Green Arrow's sidekick in DC.
Yeah, right.
Wait,
Speed,
what? Who's what?
Tommy is Speed. Billy is Wicked.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah. I get that. I'm with you.
When Speed fights the military, his scene when he comes back, we have the glasses and the hat, straight from X-Men with Peter. Straight from X-Men. The room that he's in is kind of modeled after X-Men Days of Future Past, Peter. So it's almost like you're throwing all of this X-Men stuff in for the fans, and then you give him, then it's like this whole boner thing as a final shout out to sitcom. So it's like it's one of those things where it's like, oh, that's a cool thing, but then it's like, did you really need to give us that? Like, it's not. But like, Art, did we really need that?
Art, think
like,
of the
like you give us nerd stuff, but just like, do you really need to sit there and play on our nerd sensibility and keep giving us all this other just random nerdiness just because?
This is
overkill.
This is
that's how you keep the nerds guessing.
No, it's the way to bring Kirk Cameron to the MCU.
But are you guessing? Because like
Kirk Cameron is not coming to the MCU.
No, we're not doing Kirk Cameron. No Stinky Sullivan.
Coach
no
Lubbock.
Bone.
Coach Lubbock is going to be in the MCU.
No, Kirk Cameron is to religion. He's not coming to the MCU.
It's like one of those things where it's like, you get a box in the mail, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like maybe like this big, like maybe like 4x4, but you get like a 12x12 box, and it's full of a shit ton of pack of peanuts. So you open it up and you digging out these damn pack of peanuts, and you pull out this small 4x4 box that has a light bulb in it. It's like, really? Did you need all of them pack of peanuts for this big ass box and it's for this little small ass thing? So like,
there you go. That's the analogy you were looking for.
Yes.
That's your crazy analogy. You found it.
This is what I'm here for. This is my favorite thing is Art's analogies. Like these, he's always got these analogies that come out of nowhere, but they're. This is the best one so far. I love the pack of peanuts and the light. I love
it. But I think.
Go ahead, TVJ.
I think we have to look at it from two perspectives. Number one, if your nerd feelings are really hurt, please calm down. Go outside and take a walk and relax. It's a TV show that took two characters who weren't big characters, right, and gave them their own story. It gave everyone, even Monica has her own time to shine here. This is what this did, and it did it well. It gave these characters, like Andy said, their show, and they didn't turn it into now look. And I appreciated that. I was talking to one of my friends last night after she watched it, and we both decided like we really appreciated it being about this series and these characters having their finale, and not about we'll see Wanda more, we'll see Monica again, but it gave us enough closure that we aren't left wondering for this series. Like, I think they closed the door very well, very emotionally. I cried. I might be the only one who streamed tears for the last 10 to 15 minutes of that episode. Ooh. It's nothing but waterworks. But I think they did it beautifully, and we have to remember, like, as much as it is with characters in the MCU, the show wasn't created just for that. It was still a TV show that anyone could tune into, whether they watched the Marvel Cinematic Universe or not. And that's why I like that they didn't throw anything bigger on at the end. Yeah. Because if you were not a fan of the MCU and you just happened upon WandaVision and you think it's a good show, that's all you need to know.
Yeah, that's one. I didn't quite cry, but I got emotional. Like, one of my favorite things about this episode was like with the Vision storyline. We might see him again too, because the last we see is White Vision flying in the sky to who knows where.
To destroy,
but I like that
he was
big slugfest.
He was going to destroy himself, right? Is what we think, because he said, "I have to destroy Vision."
He might.
I don't think he's going to destroy himself.
No, he's got to show up again. But but he might. That's the whole point of what Vision was trying to do.
Right.
And I love that their big slugfest turned into like a nerd robot puzzle chat. Because that is so Visioned, just like it becomes an intellectual exercise to figure out a way out of that.
Yeah.
And the whole Ship of Theseus debate was really cool, and I love that. How much of Vision is still there in the White Vision without like being comprehending it. Like they said, "You're familiar with the Ship of Theseus mental exercise." He's like, "Naturally." Okay, so that's still Vision. There's still enough there that if he gets the data back, he might eventually reform the emotional connections. He might reform in some other capacity. And so I think that will I don't know where that will happen or when. I don't know what movies could be coming out that he would be a good
who
fit
knows?
for. But
I like the idea that you can have them now independent of each other. Like Vision and Wanda don't have to be always in a relationship. Like we can see
That's
Wanda
true, too.
doing her own thing. We can see Vision doing his own thing. They can rekindle that 10 movies from now, or they don't ever have to. But they've done it now. Like I'm sure in the comics it's probably like that too. They're probably not always together, right?
right, yeah. Like they haven't been together in the comics, I think, for quite a while. Like there was a point where more recently, like Vision kind of lost his memories and was kind of reborn in a weird way and became sort of like a teenage version of himself, and he was like the coach / mentor of the Young Avengers team that was when they were pretty new. Young Avengers, which included Billy and Tommy from this show, and
Is there any rumors right now among nerddom that's going to be a thing? Like Young Avengers is going to be
I think just given the characters from that are slowly being introduced in other movies, there's the Hawkeye series that's coming on Disney Plus is introducing Kate Bishop, who is a core member. Falcon and Winter Soldier. If I talked about the whole Isaiah Bradley, the Black Captain America story. If you there's a member of the Young Avengers named Patriot, who is the grandson of that Captain America, Isaiah Bradley. And if they introduced that whole thing in Falcon and Winter Soldier, which they might not, and that might be later down the line.
I think they are going to do that though.
They might. They might.
Yeah.
And
so they're probably. So you're guessing. If you guys had to guess, you guys would guess there will be a Young Avengers series or movie down the road.
I would imagine there's that might be the next Avengers movie. They might call it Young Avengers. I know in Doctor Strange there's also going to be Miss America Chavez is going to be introduced. She's like a teenager with the power to jump between dimensions by just like punching open portals.
Wow.
And like boom, she can jump around, and she's
and
like
then in Armor Wars, they're talking about maybe having Ironheart in Armor Wars.
Oh yeah, Ironheart. She came later, but she's got her own. Does she have a series? Is she having her whole series?
No, she's on with the cartoon, but I think from what I think I read that she's supposed to be a part of Armor Wars with what's his name? That dude.
Oh, War Machine. Don Cheadle's getting his own show, isn't he?
Yeah.
I forgot about that. They're doing an Armor Wars thing.
You didn't want to say his name.
Wait, what?
I see how you didn't want to say his name. But you were out here hollering Tom Cruise not too long ago. You were out here hollering Tom Cruise name from the mountaintop.
The reason I didn't want to say it, I did not want to
be
make
like
this
Don.
a Tom versus Don thing.
How did it become
Tom versus Don thing?
How did it become Tom versus Don? I don't get that. But wait, so Don Cheadle's gonna get his own show?
Yeah, I forgot they announced that, but like
Disney
in Armor Wars, a major Iron Man storyline was Armor Wars, where people basically steal Stark's Iron Man technology, adapt it for their own use, and use it badly. So Tony Stark goes and beats the shit out of everybody. I think I talked about this before when we were talking about Iron Man. But now that Tony Stark's gone, it makes sense for Rhodey to be the protector of that.
And if Don Cheadle's got his own show, it only makes sense that they have a hologram of Rue McClanahan to be on that show.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But no, and hear me out. When we're talking about this, there's a little thing. There is this Easter chicken or thing, I think, because Boner was on Growing Pains with Kirk Cameron, whose sister is Candace Cameron, who was in a show with Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, the sisters of WandaVision's little sister, big sisters.
Did you make that trail? You wrote that down,
chart.
didn't you?
I have a whole chart.
Wait a minute.
I have a whole chart.
Wait a minute.
It's the Joe-verse.
Spoiler alert, but the Joe-verse, the center of the Joe-verse, the son in Joe-verse is Coach Lubbock.
Oh, Lord.
Bill Kirkenbauer of Just the Terrorists.
Kirkenbauer.
I mean, way to have a full circle of
stupid
of randomness.
Boner.
I don't even know what to call it.
Boner, but can we?
His name
just
is
have
Ralph
a moment?
Boner.
Well, he's clearly
I love that they built that.
He's Boner's
I kind of like the Packing Peanuts thing. That
I love
they head faked so hard into this to get nerds guessing that way, and they said, "Oh, that guy doesn't matter. His name is Boner. That's it. That's the whole joke." But that's just the fact that Agatha chose this guy to be her husband in the show and all that stuff, there's a chance he might turn out to be something more. Still. Not in this show, but maybe when Doctor Strange really gets
I read there the angle we all forgot about. We all forgot about the angle that Jimmy Woo was there to investigate somebody in the witness protection program, right? Mm-hmm. And so it could be him. Richard Boner could be witness protection, hiding who he really is.
Ralph Boner. That would make sense because Ralph Boner laughs at his own last name.
Right. I just read something not too long ago that kind of merges the two brothers, Andy and Joe's theory. But then also on the flip side, it said but why would Jimmy Woo why would he be in witness protection if he's someone that big? Why would the FBI be dealing with them and not somebody else? So
FBI is pretty big.
He's multiversal, multiversal.
Well, FBI is in this world.
Is Jimmy
FBI has to function in this world, so they got to take on stuff as well.
Jimmy Woo's FBI? He's not SWORD?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, because he was always wearing an FBI jacket, the whole show.
Yeah, he called S.H.I.E.L.D. but he was the original person.
I didn't remember if it was a SWORD or a D.
What's called?
SWORD. A or whatever.
SWORD.
all the
Jimmy Woo called SWORD.
But Andy, I'm really kind of mad at you because you've got me really, really wanting that Atlas, Agents of Atlas.
Agents of Atlas? I want that too. I would like to say...
How do you be mad at him for you wanting something that could be good?
It was supposed to happen and it didn't happen and it's your fault, Andy.
No. No, I'm saying that's
set in stone yet.
There's a good chance since Jimmy Woo is in the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings movie, and that's an all-Asian cast, and I think it even takes place in China or perhaps the larger Asia, I don't know. But if the Atlas Foundation is going to exist, it's going to be there. And if Jimmy Woo takes it over, it's going to happen there.
And that's July.
Or in
that's
subsequent sequels if it's a hit.
Right.
I haven't been
after you guys all
yet.
told me last time. Yeah, you guys all told me last time. It's already been announced, everything. So I started looking up to try to plan on what we're doing, and I know they're setting up for Doctor Strange 3, but I didn't see that. Black Widow comes out before that. That's in May. Loki show is in June.
Doctor Strange 3 was a way off. This one will be Doctor Strange 2. This is the next one.
That's what I meant to say. When's that?
Sometime this year, probably. They're still filming it right now. Yeah, they're still filming it.
Yeah, they announced. They didn't just announce now. They announced now and a couple years ahead. Remember how much work they put into developing these things and big picture wise.
Yeah.
2, it just takes a lot of work to put things together. So they announced from here on out for a couple years. So don't be mad at Andy because he didn't tell you it was coming tomorrow. He didn't tell you it was coming in 2021. He just said it may come, and you're going to have to put your patience pants on.
I was explaining to you why I want it to happen. Because there's a talking gorilla man, and there's a weird robot, and there's Bob from Uranus, and Namor the Submariner's cousin, Namora, is on this team. Wow. And I think it would make a lot of nerds mad if she gets introduced before Namor does.
I think my big thing is I'm excited now that you guys are telling me about all these possibilities that are in the comics world that I've never heard of. Everything out there kind of now I already know, and I'm seeing it's neat to see it come to life from comics, but now you're getting into introducing characters that most of the people like me don't know, like the people who aren't into so that's the big test. Is that going to be as marketable? Are we going to like that? You guys like it.
Guardians of the Galaxy proved that if you do it right.
That's right.
And anything, they have a talking raccoon and a tree guy. I had no idea how that was going to work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
then good point. Even before that, like we're saying, Thor and Captain America, how are they going to make those guys work? Those guys seem like big,
but we knew them
cool
already.
Within the comic realm, but they're weird and dorky. But they made those guys work.
So let me ask you.
They can make Talking Gorilla Man and Bob from Uranus work.
Trust the creatives. Trust the big budgets, the money they have to pay people that are good. Marvel seems to have it right. But here's my question then. So, and I don't know if you guys will have the answer or you just want to speculate on this, but so this was a great job setting up Doctor Strange which isn't for till March. But we have this Black Widow movie that's coming out soon, but this was supposed to have been made. This was originally going to come out in November or something, right? Or last year.
No, it was originally going to come out last May.
Last May,
year.
but pandemic delayed it, right? So, so it because it was already. Oh, I guess we don't know why it delayed it, but are you thinking that because it was already pretty much slated and ready, that there's not going to be a setup like WandaVision was for this, like Falcon Winter Soldier's not going to set that up?
If it is, it's like almost like how Captain Marvel was, because it's in the past. So unless Marvel does something where they call back to something from Black Widow, it's not really going. I can't.
Oh,
Black
Widow.
Post production. Yeah,
Black Widow's in the past.
They did something. I don't know how much it would, have anything to do with Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, it's a prequel.
Yeah, I think Black Widow is set. I think just after Civil War. I think after Black Widow and Captain America go on the run.
After Civil War.
But before Infinity War, I think.
Oh, so this is.
Oh, I thought it was her before.
We got 2 months.
I thought it was too. I thought it was her origin story. It's not her origin story.
It will be, but it's also her going back and to where she comes from. We'll get to her origin story and see, probably put some closure in her issues with all that, because she's she's gone now.
So no, Joe. The short answer is this was already filmed. They didn't go back and change anything. So if it was, because it focuses solely on her and mostly her, it will not, what you're watching on TV won't lead up to that, because she's already filmed.
So
there is a chance some characters from that movie will show up later.
Yeah.
Right. And so, so because you guys have already established that this WandaVision stuff is a good segue into Doctor Strange, is there rumors or word or official word, maybe even in the nerd world, that Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to be a similar thing, like that's setting up another movie, or not yet?
I mean, the MCU's kind of established that kind of everything is a springboard for other stuff, but the trick is to keep it self-contained, keep its own story, like WandaVision did. Here's this story of these characters. There's plenty that we can draw from for future stuff.
Yeah.
But this is like WandaVision springs a lot from 2015, the Avengers Age of Ultron movie.
Right.
So much of this is like building off of stuff that was built there, where both of those characters were first really introduced.
So there's not like what you're saying is like there's not a clear cut like this goes to that and this goes. It's just all kind of intertwined.
No, you got to remember, each show has its own set of writers. They're big picture people. So they know how things interlock and connect.
Yeah.
But character development, this is not your average what you were watching for, Joe. It's not all fight scenes. We established that. When you aren't paying attention,
but this
there's actually story happening.
This episode was so good for
you have to remember that the writers are building a story and story first. They're not so much.
Yeah.
They are going. Things will link naturally because it's a universe.
Yeah.
Things will naturally link, and they may spend some time on it, but they're not like 10 hours in a dark room going, "No, you must link this to this.
Yeah.
No, you're fired. You can't link it." That's not happening. It is.
It might be happening.
I hope it's not happening. It could be, but I hope not.
I mean, they do have to have like a vague sense of where everybody's going to be just to sign the movie contracts and get all the actors and get everybody in the right place for the right project. So I mean, they have they've announced release dates 5 years in advance, so they have a vague chart of that, and it might be way more specific than we know because they're the ones putting it all together. But I think they do they probably do some organic stuff as well, like which characters would fit best where would be fun to put this person.
Gotcha.
But I'd like to hear what you said. You were excited about the fight scenes in this movie.
That
last episode.
So that I feel like this episode really. Are you talking about this? Yeah, this. Yeah. So this episode.
This is WandaVision episode.
Yeah, I thought you said movie, and I was like, wait a minute, it was a show.
Oh, maybe I did. Maybe I meant this episode.
I just suddenly stopped in case you weren't talking to me. I was like, were you talking about something else? But no, I felt like I actually, while I was watching it, I actually watched it during, like, in between Zoom calls for work because I was so excited to see it. So I was like, so I was standing up a lot of it, folding laundry and like running it back in. But I actually yelled at the TV. I was like, "Yeah, yes, this is a movie. This is what it's all about." Like I was like, "This is what we were hoping for." And all these, like, on behalf.
What part? Like what? Give us specific.
When the
like,
visions, every time the visions hit each other and collided and back and forth, the car hitting Harkness, but really
the car bit was
visions,
pretty good.
the visions bits, and I love that little detail of Wanda and Agnes fighting, and their fingers were turning black from the getting burnt by their magic. Like, I don't know if that's just a thing witches in witch movies or whatever, but
every time I look at Agnes's fingers, I just imagine like how like you see some movies where they have witches. They usually have like elongated fingers and weird toes and things.
Oh, do they? Yeah.
So I was feeling like they were trying to do something like that with their fingers. Like because
like it looked like they were burned, like charcoal burnt, like they were like.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I gotta say, I mean, so just the visions back and forth, like just that's what I love about Marvel movies is like it feels like a comic when they just bust through walls and crash through everything, just tackling each other back and forth. It's like
and then going on about their business.
And the ladies fighting was those shooting all that stuff was so cool and the effects were so good and then Elizabeth Olsen, like Tiffany said, she was crying like what a great actress. Like it was really good acting and you could feel her her whole thing, like that was so crazy good with action. How often do you see kick-ass action plus really good acting? I mean, I can't even, I don't know what else I could name that's.
So you're saying this was better than any Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Oh, I've never seen any of those
movie that you've ever seen.
But I do feel like I was mainly I was like, okay, this is what we've been waiting for because we've been having a lot of episodes of just exposition. I mean, the whole last episode 8 was all just exposition. It was just storytelling kind of, and which is fine. But I think a lot of the people,
which is great.
A lot of the people knocking it, like people that aren't Marvel people, they're just wasn't for me. That show's dumb. They don't get the MCU, like they're not into the MCU. They're gonna remain like I was outside, just like they're gonna watch. If it's action, I'll watch it. If not, I'm not listening to the story, kind of thing.
But I think
those people hated it. Our friend Drew, like he's not gonna like
some of them. Yeah,
he might have come around by the later episodes, though.
Some of them will take a couple episodes to get into. But what I want to talk about, which we haven't talked about yet, though, we haven't come back on our predictions. We each have predictions.
Yeah. I did want to
for the final episode. So I'd like to talk about those.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I had the big epiphany. Before we did a text chain. We didn't record this, but I wanted to get it out to you guys so you could back me up. That I had this big prediction. I'm like, I think I figured it out. The Scarlet Witch controls reality, and the Reality Stone has red power, so these magicians are drawing their powers from the Infinity Stones, or the concepts of the Infinity Stones. Agatha Harkness is purple, and we can see she has so much power, and that was the power gem. So what happens is the Infinity Stones are destroyed, but maybe their powers have downloaded into these avatars, and now the avatars control the timelines and all that stuff. But then it turned out that was not addressed at all in this. I mean, that could still be a thing that happens in Doctor Strange 2 or something in the future. But we had such a big. Do we need to get this recorded so it's on? You're officially on the record as saying your awesome prediction. Like, I don't need to be.
If that were true and does come up later, are we to believe that? Because I was thinking about that when they were fighting each other, and then did I take away this correctly that Wanda now has both the purple and the red combined into her, like she's maroon now or whatever it is? Because she became maroon, like her outfit turned from red to maroon because the purple and the red kind of combined inside her.
And there's a point to that. It's possible, but I don't think Agatha lost her power. She just couldn't use it because she's in this realm that Wanda put the rooms up, so she was kind of trapped. Or maybe she did suck it all in.
And I think her costume could just be like an aesthetic choice. Like,
I think
like it went from being, us seeing it, and then like it was sort of like an actual projection of her costume, and then to all of a sudden now, like she actually had this physical costume on. Like, we're not gonna make it chaos red. Let's make it, kind of sort of closer to the magenta-ish color.
Yeah, I think it's like they're afraid of the bright colors. Like they showed how the bright colors work in the Halloween episode. It's like, oh, that looks a little like too much and too silly. Yeah. But so like they're kind of afraid of the bright, so they need to mute everything. Like the Vision is normally bright yellow,
Captain
and bright
America.
green.
Captain America used as a brighter blue, but here's kind of like a close to an almost navy-ish.
Mm-hmm. All right. Also, one thing I'd like to go on the record and say: if you hear a fart in my recording, it was my dog, and I gotta go let my dogs out for a second. I'll be right back. You discuss among yourselves.
WandaVision, the finale, Andy's dog fart.
All right. I'll be back in a second.
God bless.
So, do we want? Oh yeah, I was gonna say is that maroon that you were talking about, that darker color art? Isn't that the color of Scarlet Witch mostly in comics or not? Or do we know that? I don't know why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Directly.
But I mean, Scarlet Red is close to a maroon.
Oh.
It's a cross between maroon. It's like a maroonish, vermilion kind of thing going on.
Oh.
Yeah, it was darker than regular red.
Okay, I didn't.
But like Andy was saying, it's just like a lot of these movies and TV shows. They like, I guess, to try to get like a more of a serious note.
Yeah.
You kind of mute the colors. Like you give them the color scheme, but it's still kind of like it's all muted.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna have like Vision is usually kind of like a bright green, not a bright green, but like a bright hunter green and yellow and red
in the comics.
Like Andy said, like from the Halloween versions of their costumes are usually the way they used to have them modeled in the comic book. So
yeah,
but like for TV and movies, you don't want that like. It takes away from the seriousness.
Yeah, it doesn't seem real. It doesn't seem real, right?
Yeah, like because they've tried that. Like like there's a 90s Fantastic Four movie from Roger Corman, I think, that everyone kind of says is the dumbest looking thing. That's very bright. There's like the old 70s Captain America where he's got the weird bike helmet and
Roger Corman from Carol Burnett?
No, that's Harvey Korman.
Oh, Harvey Korman. Sorry.
Roger Corman is a famous filmmaker who's really trucks in the B-movie genre.
Oh.
But he also gave Jack Nicholson his first break in the original Little Shop of Horrors movie from the early 60s, I think.
Okay. Okay, more predictions. What were so Art didn't want to make a prediction, right? Is that right?
And I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't make a prediction. Because knowing me, I would have been way off.
Yeah,
I'd have been way off.
You say, oh, they're gonna introduce Kylo Ren, and he's gonna show up and overrun Westview.
Or Tom Cruise.
It would have just been Adam Driver walking by with like something red on or something, like, oh yeah, I'm looking for Lot B.
But that does introduce a tangent we can jump off of. Who would be a good character for Adam Driver to play in the MCU if he were to come here? He could be a good Mephisto.
Dr. Doom.
Yeah, he could.
Dr. Doom didn't show up.
Dr. Doom too, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's been some, or at least there used to be. This might have been when it was still on with Fox, but there was some talk about like a Doom movie. It's like a standalone Doctor Doom.
Oh, I kind of remember. I feel like I remember that.
Or like maybe like a miniseries or something like that.
Yeah, did they tease it and say it was just going to be called Doom? And it showed him like, or am I making that up?
Well, there's that Doom movie with The Rock in it, but that's based on the video game.
No, it wasn't that.
Right.
There was something that I thought they were going to introduce Doctor Doom. Anyway, all right, TVJ.
It's possible.
TVJ, what was your prediction?
I don't even remember anymore.
I know.
I knew that I didn't predict I did not predict a big bad, so that was fine.
Yeah, Mephisto didn't show up. That was a big one we wondered and speculated on.
But
I didn't predict that, so I'm okay.
Yeah. But that final...
we we were all kind of right on the Vision's merging. They didn't physically merge, but one Vision added something into the other.
Oh yeah, he
Vision.
downloaded himself into him. So yeah, I think they did. I think that was right. Generally,
so that was a correction there, and then
I swear you had.
I think I said Monica was really going to show her powers.
Yeah,
I think, and I can't remember, but that happened too. So we'll just claim all wins.
And she did. I mean, I am excited for what she's becoming. Like that's, and we know she's going to be in. What is it that she's
Captain Marvel too?
Captain Marvel, yeah. Do we know? Do we know when that is?
And Secret Invasion.
Oh yeah, there's a Secret Invasion
series. Can I say that? And this is totally random.
What is that?
This is totally random. Totally random.
All right, give me some random.
What?
Lord,
I got a lot of nerds out there. Falling in love with Skrulls, especially female Skrulls.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Was she not a hot Skrull? Like I felt like Agnes when she asked Wanda about the oven being on. Like, is it just me? What is it? Is it just me, or did I leave the oven on? 'Cause just hot stuff or something like that. When she turned into the Skrull, I was like, why is she so damn pretty?
So can we talk about that as the guy? I'm the only guy who probably has no idea what those scenes meant at the end. So
yeah, you haven't seen Captain Marvel?
I don't think I saw Captain Marvel.
All right. Well, Captain Marvel will introduce the green guys with the pointy ears. Those are
the
Skrulls.
Part of me feels like in school should we be even doing WandaVision, because I'm not to that. Like,
no, I think it's okay to talk about WandaVision and just allude that you will watch it later, and when you watch it later, you'll go.
It's the difference between current events and history. Current events and history. We're doing current events right now, and you'll learn the history of it a bit later.
Right.
This should also make you sit there and be like, oh, these dudes talked about Skrulls. I don't want to be an idiot or something. Let me, while we're not on the podcast, let me research and find out what a Skrull is.
So I know what Skrulls are just from, gosh, I don't even know what I know it from. I guess from HeroClix or...
if you read a bunch of those old essentials, you probably saw some Skrull stories.
The Skrulls were in some
early
of those.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I probably read probably the first 10 Iron Man and the first 10 X-Men. I feel like there was another one I read. Maybe Essential Captain America. So I've seen Skrulls, and I've kind of seen, I don't know a lot about them, but so I recognize that she was a Skrull, but I did.
So there you go.
But I didn't know what you guys are speculating this means.
Monica's going to be in Captain Marvel 2. Yeah. And she's also going to be in Secret Invasion, which is Secret Invasion basically is you haven't seen Captain Marvel, so that defeats that purpose. But like in Captain Marvel, you have spoilers. You have Maria Hill and Nick Fury being actual Skrulls instead of themselves. So Secret Invasion is pretty much like it's almost like this whole thing where like if you're a I don't want to say a nut, if you're an alien conspiracy
enthusiast,
theorist, it's like, what if aliens were already here and they're just disguising themselves?
They are. Trust me.
Secret Invasion is basically like a storyline where there are like a lot of people in power and people throughout the world, almost like how Hydra sprinkled themselves into S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Skrulls have sprinkled themselves into our society.
That's what That's what Secret Invasion's about?
Right.
Is that a movie or a show?
It's going to be a show, but it's also it's a book. It's just a book.
There was a storyline like maybe 10, 20, 15 years ago or so called Secret Invasion where but I hesitate to explain like why this is sort of spinning, because it's kind of a major twist in Captain Marvel. Yeah. But since we're going in order, it's going to be a long time until we watch Captain Marvel, so I'm sure you'll forget.
Oh, I've already forgotten.
He will forget. He will forget.
But like the Skrulls have traditionally been villains in the Marvel universe, with like a few exceptions. Like there was a Skrull that was sent to infiltrate the Fantastic Four, and she fell in love with Johnny Storm, and they got married.
Well, there's a Skrull in Teen Titans Go, right?
No, that's Beast
that's
Boy.
DC.
He's
Never
just
mind.
green and shapeshifts. He's not a Skrull.
Oh, because that's DC.
But also he's DC.
Different world. Yeah.
Right.
It's a different world. And Dwayne Wayne was in a different world. And he is now going to be in the
this
MCU.
This is why the WandaVision episode takes us longer to record than the WandaVision episode that aired on the
Yes. But
all right,
it's
quick go around and everybody say your favorite A Different World character.
No. Let Andy finish. Andy, finish.
I mean, are we not all going to say Dwayne Wayne? Except maybe...
Of course we
no,
are.
I wouldn't say Dwayne.
Everyone's
going to say Freddy.
What about Ron?
Yeah, I love Freddy.
Nobody likes Ron. That's
Nobody
kind of the
likes
joke in
I
the
was
show
in
that
love
no one
with
likes Ron.
Freddie and Kim. Freddie and
Yeah,
Kim were
Kim
my...
was
Well,
dope.
wait, Jaleesa.
Jaleesa was dope.
Yeah.
All the girls were dope.
And Marissa Tomei was on that show.
Yeah, that's right. Early Marissa Tomei. So we
I don't
did
remember
talk
what her name
about
was.
it.
See, damn it,
Is
Joe.
there anybody?
Andy,
Okay,
finish your
all right.
point
To
about
get it, wait.
where-
Here's how we'll bridge it back to the MCU. Is there anybody that's on a different
Marissa
world that's in
Tomei
You have to
the
was
bridge
MCU?
in
it back
that
to
show,
WandaVision.
but
We're in the
she's also
WandaVision
Aunt
episode.
May. We brought it back to the MCU.
Oh, yeah, Marissa Tomei from Different World is Aunt May's
Oh,
aunt.
Lord.
May. That's
It's
right.
Peter Parker's aunt, who in his movie is going to deal with the multiverse.
Art's right. I did that on purpose.
Okay. I'm glad you think
See,
so.
we're back in the multiverse and
Actually,
WandaVision now.
Tiffany did it. She said A Different World. So.
I
You
literally
started
was telling you something was of a different
Oh, I
world,
thought you were
not
singing.
referencing
I believe
the
you.
TV show.
I believe you sang the theme. Didn't you?
I know
That's a no.
parents love me.
See, now you got Andy going. We're never getting back to WandaVision. I don't even think we've heard Art talk about his prediction.
Wait a second. We can't talk about that show because Bill Cosby, right? We can't like that show anymore.
You can talk about a different world. We're not going out to purchase, rent, or buy or any of that stuff.
Dang it! I can't buy Dwayne Wayne glasses until Cosby.
You
died.
can, as long as it benefits Dwayne Wayne. You can. The goal is not to put money in the pockets of the criminal. So Dwayne Wayne glasses would probably trace where your money goes, know where it is. So it's not saying never buying merchandise from a brand.
What if-
it's paying attention to
what
where
if-
the money is
What
going?
if Kadeem
If
Hardison?
the money directly leads to Bill Cosby's pockets.
Yeah.
It's a no.
Do we know if Kadeem Hardison might have enabled Bill Cosby? We don't know. Is Kadeem Hardison's are his hands clean?
He's never been accused of anything, so we're gonna hope his hands.
Okay, we'll save the rest of this for our Kadeem Hardison podcast that comes out in 2023.
I would like us to finish WandaVision episode 9, please.
Well, I didn't have a prediction.
Episode 9.
Yeah, Art does. So
All right.
you missed it, Tiffany.
I didn't have a prediction.
Your internet went out when we discussed. Art didn't have a prediction.
I didn't have a prediction.
Oh, okay.
And so-
You
listen.
love this part, and I said I didn't have a prediction because I would have been way wrong.
Yeah.
I'd have been
Oh.
way wrong.
Of all the things for me to miss, damn it.
I did that for you because I know when you came back, you was going to want that. I did that for you.
That's a
was for
present.
you.
That's
Listen,
a present for you.
Also, y'all, we didn't talk about something that was really good in this episode, other than me crying for the last 15 minutes. That was when she took Agatha back to the cross, to the stake.
Mm-hmm.
That was beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Because all the other witches, even though they reincarnated, did not go for Agatha. They intentionally went for the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, that whole... I'm like, I like that they called back to Wanda's first trick. The first thing we see from her is like she's making people go into these crazy dream sequences. And that's
Right.
from Age of Ultron. And we haven't really seen her do that since. But she pulled that out of her bag of tricks.
You remember that, Joe?
To mess with Agatha.
Yeah, and I have a
No.
question about
Oop.
that. So we think she did that to heal her, like she was, or what is?
No,
she
I
was
think
so-
she's trying to find a way to beat her. And
Yeah.
getting into her head, figuring out what she
trying
knows.
to be nice to that fool.
She was just taking the powers from her. So I thought you were saying it was a nice moment
Oh.
that she did that for her. Yeah, go.
Wait, when we're done talking about this, I just remember my last prediction. Then don't let me forget it after Andy talks about what he loved about that scene.
Well, you go for that right now. Because what I liked about it was that it was a callback. But
I do just remember this now as I'm recalling the episode. My last prediction was Trash Dude. It's gonna be Trash Dude and called out for his trash. And who was arrested? Trash Dude.
Oh, and that was so great the way 2 Girls 1 Cup
Darcy.
did it. Like hit Crash.
Darcy.
Darcy. Crash.
Saved.
That was so.
Yep.
That was I could, and it was one of those moments where I was like, I knew, of course, even as the van was coming, I knew it was her. I was like, oh, it's her. I couldn't remember her name, of course, and then of course I also knew, as soon as it showed her, I was like, what's her line gonna be? She's gonna say something hilarious, and of course it was like, have fun in jail. It was very great. I love that moment. That was one of my favorite moments of the whole show. Which I'm glad you remembered that.
Yes.
But I had a prediction.
Yes.
Did you remember I had a prediction that didn't come true? I thought Tony Stark would show up.
I want her to have her like. I
Well, that
want
was
her
a
to
dumb
be
prediction.
like Felicity Smoke, and really be big in the comics.
Now what's
Nah.
that?
Darcy?
What's Felicity Smoke?
Darcy, yeah.
Felicity Smoke is on
Green
the Green
Arrow.
Arrow show, and was sort of like
Wait,
I
that's
think she was
DC,
created for
right?
that show. Yeah, that's
she was created
DC.
for that show.
Yeah,
She was
you're the
created
one
for
who
that
asked
show,
what she was.
and she ended up being placed in the comics. Because
Wait,
she was such a
wait.
great character on the show.
Didn't you just say you want her to be Felicity Smoke?
No, I said I
No,
want her to be
he
like
wants her
Felicity
to be
Smoke and
like-
be bigger
like
in the comics.
A version of that.
I see. I missed that.
Because like, even in this episode, we just got her like there. She was boom. She poofed. She poofed after
Yeah, like that was
She
her
did,
only
because she
appearance.
was like,
that bit.
debriefs are not
And then
it.
she was, and it was it was a total Kat Dennings move.
Yeah,
It was
it
total
was.
Kat
I
Dennings
gotta
move.
say that was so cool the way they've used her. Like that whole thing, the whole point of just using her, which they probably didn't have to. They could have had a new person or whatever. That was awesome. I think that was you talk about presents for nerds. Like that was a cool thing that we all got.
Yeah.
You know
and, yeah. She's kind of a
thing
star,
I loved about
right?
that scene.
Yeah.
Another thing I loved about that scene is you see how these. I mean, we got there with like the kids and Vision and all that, but like how things created inside the Hex, just how powerful they can be. You know what I'm saying? So her to crash this ice cream truck into this military Hummer, and it does as much damage as it does. We're like, whoa! And then when once the Hex is lifted, you see just how big this actual vehicle is.
Yeah.
And like I love little small quirky things like that.
Yeah.
Throughout, the
Details.
season on this show, whatever, yeah.
And
Little extra details.
Yep.
yeah, so like, but back to the mind trick on Agatha.
Yeah.
I like that it was a callback to what she used to do, and I'm thinking that's how she figured out how to actually do the runes. She got into her head and sort of dug around in there, because like later she like puts runes on the whole Hex and cancels out Agatha's entire ability to do magic at all.
Yeah, because
Which
only
it was
the
kinda
witch
cool.
that cast the spell or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So
Only the witch to cast.
okay, so the scroll thing, we just think that's just introducing the next Captain Marvel 2, right? Or putting
That
in
and the Secret Invasion series, and the thing like I was going to go with that, and I was going to drop the Captain Marvel spoiler on you. Is that like they've been traditionally viewed as villains, and Captain Marvel was with the Kree, the other like the blue alien dudes who have been at war with the Skrulls forever.
Kree.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
Kree Warrior.
Kree was. We'll get into them with Guardians of the Galaxy.
I just realized. I think I was mixing up the Skrulls and the Kree. Okay. Hopefully that'll all get explained to me as I watch.
Yeah.
Shit.
But
When you watch, you'll get it.
I will. Do you
so,
get
like,
it?
As we know the Skrulls so far, like we found out, like maybe the Kree were the bad guys and the Skrulls were not, which is sort of a twist.
Is that
because
what people
Skrulls are
think?
usually evil.
Oh, Skrulls
Captain
are
Marvel, they were
evil,
kinda
and
like-
Kree and Skrulls are both usually evil. Is that what I'm? Okay.
Kind of.
Yeah. What?
Kind of. The Kree are very
They
warlike.
made
The
it.
Skrulls are very sneaky and sabotagey, and they've been at war a lot.
Let me ask you this.
And then Avengers get caught up in it and things like that.
Let me ask you
But-
this about the Kree and the Skrulls. Are they?
Yeah.
Is it like Star Wars or whatever, where like
I
Kree
believe so.
is from one planet, Skrulls from another planet, or is it just species on Earth, or is it not Earth? I don't.
They're not Earth.
It's another
the
planet?
Kree is a Kree empire. It's they're, I guess, the empire, but and they're led by this weird giant floating green turd head in a tank called the Supreme Intelligence. And we haven't seen that guy yet, I don't think. No. But all we've seen is Ronan the Accuser, who's been in Guardians of the Galaxy. And we've seen
he's the blue guy, right? From Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay.
And even though, I guess, like we'll probably talk about this in a few minutes, they also have been in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a brief time. But
that was a whole other thing.
To drop my nerd cred, my wife went to prom with the raccoon guy from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Brandon Cooper.
So is it
Bradley
your nerd
Cooper?
cred or your wife's nerd cred?
My wife's nerd cred, but I'm married to her. Like, we're married. Now, not the raccoon, but
you get nerd cred by proxy.
No, not the
Joe
raccoon.
Gets nerd credit by proxy.
Not the raccoon. I mean, he did the CGI for the raccoon, but he plays the bad guy that's with the. He's who's the Gunn? Sean Gunn and Jim Gunn.
Really?
Right. Sean Gunn's the director, right, or Jim Gunn?
James Gunn is the director.
James Gunn's the director. Sean Gunn. Yeah, Sean Gunn she went to prom with in St. Louis, Missouri. So he's the other guy. He was like the other bad guy. Yeah. So she's still friends with him on Facebook and keeps in touch with him or whatever. But he also, a lot of people don't know, he did the CGI of the raccoon. Like they put stuff on him to do all that, I guess. But
look at Joe knowing nerd stuff.
Yeah, I only know that because
look at him.
Because my wife.
His wife told him so. That's why.
And then he was on screen as one of the Kraglin, one of the Ravagers in Guardians 2, or he might have even been in Guardians 1. I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I figured nerds would like that.
Yeah, that's good to know.
And so I'm gonna go to Comic Cons and be like, "Hey, my wife went to prom with that guy, and I'll sign your autograph."
Yeah, get a whole booth just on that.
That is what the booth will be dedicated to.
So the Secret Invasion series, do we have a timeline or when that's? Do we have any idea?
They don't have a date for that yet.
I'm not sure, but we know Sam Jackson's going to be in it as Nick Fury, because at the end of Captain Marvel, we kind of see the beginnings of what S.W.O.R.D. is, which is Nick Fury, and like the Skrulls are kind of working with Nick Fury to help kind of patrol things. But I wonder if the Secret Invasion storyline that in the MCU is going to be, oh, by the way, the Skrulls, we thought the Skrulls were the good guys in Captain Marvel, but they're not all the good guys. Here's the bad Skrulls, or if it's going to be a conflict between good and bad Skrulls, or if Skrulls are going to go rogue, or if they're going to just, people are going to find out about the Skrulls, and then even if they're good guys, the conflict will go out of control because there'll be so many trust issues broken. Even if their intentions are good, so it could go a lot of different ways wherever the Secret Invasion.
Well,
in the books, it was
I'm excited about that. I think they gave us we saw a little commercial for it or something on at the end of the movie, right, or something about it. Like,
no, it was just Monica Rambeau has been grounded. She wants to be in the space. She wants to be doing cosmic shit. And after her cool little moment, I was kind of hoping for more from Monica for this, other than just turning into a weird jelly thing for a little while.
Yeah,
but she has more to build to, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about her being badass.
So then we got a Skrull lady there because Monica is familiar with the Skrulls. She met them in Captain Marvel, so she revealed herself as a Skrull and said, "Hey, let's go up into outer space and let's do some cosmic shit."
Is there a? Did I sense a little sort of a spark between her and Jimmy Woo a little bit? Is that just me?
It could be. It could be platonic
I
friendship.
didn't read a spark.
She smiled at him. Do they date in the comics?
Not that I'm aware
That
of.
is the worst. I just want you guys to know, Joe, you just made the worst comment. She smiled at me. She wants me. That's essentially the comment you just made, which is hella sexist.
Just because she smiled
Women's smiles are not flirtation.
Well, but
to me, it was more of a homie to a homie.
Okay.
Like, look at you taking charge. You look good. Look at your player. That's what it was for me.
So she's more like, hey, buddy.
So like that whole end of the movie, end of the show kind of thing where the one person get the other person and not whatever.
So it was more like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because she said,
Like,
she said something like, something looks good on you is what I thought. It was like she was like
leadership
looks good on you. So like,
yeah,
you can't say
not
that
in a flirty
you can't
way.
say that to somebody and not be harassment. Like if I go to Art at work, I'm like, Art, that looks good on you. He goes to HR and I'm in trouble.
If you're talking about his clothes, but if you see Art taking charge of something and you're like, leadership looks good on you, that's a big difference.
I still think
just a warn. I'm just putting it out there in our pod.
I still think he's going to HR.
Smiles are not flirtations, and I think she was just saying to Jimmy because Jimmy was, a mild mannered, but here he is.
I just want Jimmy Woo to win in the end. Is all I want.
He did.
Win?
I don't know. Well, it's not the end, right?
He did.
It's not the end.
It's not the end, but in this series, he won at the end of this series.
I like Randall Park a lot.
I do too.
I can't remember if Jimmy Woo was married. I can't remember if he's dropped a line about having a wife or something in like Ant-Man.
Is he married in the comics? Or do they not go into that?
Maybe at this point, but I don't know if he was at the time I was reading about him. I don't think he was.
Okay, so the second post-credit scene, that was the one. Art, you said that blew your mind, but I didn't think that was that exciting. But so what I meant, like,
well, she was actually projecting her body. She was doing one thing, and then she had an actual projection doing something else.
So,
like, can you just imagine? Like, let's say, for instance, like right now we're podcasting. Can you imagine right now you're podcasting? But then you can actually project yourself and you're playing Grand Theft Auto. How cool is that? and you're playing Grand Theft Auto and you're aware of what you're actually doing in Grand Theft Auto, but you're in this moment now.
Yeah, so
how cool would that be?
So
go ahead. My friend brought up a good point last night when we were talking about her in this scene. There's her reading all of that and taking all that in is a plot point in Shields, in Agents of Shield. That ties back to.
Oh, it is?
It destroyed, that's what I wanted to talk about. This thing kind of, sort of, like, Agents of Shield did their thing to kind of, sort of get themselves at the back door, peeking in of the MCU, and this kind of shut the door on that because, well, first off, the Darkhold, the book that she was holding.
Yeah.
Like, it's shown up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and it's also shown up in the Marvel show The Runaways. And in both of these series,
what the heck is that?
Darkhold. Let me finish, Joe. In both of these series, the book it was like spot on the nose. The book looked like a book and it said Darkhold on it. Right? And season 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like, they used the Darkhold was used to create something called the framework, where, and Joe, you're not gonna know this, and whatever. but one
it's
of the
basically the Matrix
from S.H.I.E.L.D. fits.
Yeah. I'm following, but this is interesting. I had no idea any.
So one of the characters fits. In this universe, he was like almost like a Hitlerist type kind of guy, whatever.
Yeah.
But then all of us revolved around this book, The Darkhold. And then there's like Ghost Rider. Like the last we saw the Darkhold, Ghost Rider took the book, and like Ghost Rider's linked to Mephisto, so he took the book and he took it, quote unquote, back to hell or whatever. But like he went through this, like the little thing that he went through looks sort of like Doctor Strange-esque kind of portals, right? Yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
So now we see the Darkhold here. Like this, like the Darkhold here is what I would imagine the Book of the Dead kind of thing looking like, as opposed to how taboo it was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It looks like it's two totally different books. Like, and it's one of those things where it's like, well, I can see that maybe she pulled this from back in the 1600s. Yeah, but it's only supposed to be one book. Yet this book looks different in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
It is a very magical book. The book can look different to whoever it wants to look like.
I get that, but evil people have been holding it. Like, it looked the same when Agnes had it, and it looked the same when the Scarlet Witch had it. Like, I feel like they literally splintered the universe. They splintered Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Runaways, any of the Marvel TV shows from the MCU just by having the Darkhold look drastically different than what it looks like in the shows and in the movies.
I feel like the show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. splintered themselves with some plot points.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they did. But
they did that them damn selves.
And they came back. Because, again, if you watch season 7 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. basically is in like the end game where they travel through the quantum realm, and then in Ant-Man 3 when we have Quantum Mania, all of that stuff, S.H.I.E.L.D. tackled in season 7. Going back in different timelines, screwing up timelines, Daisy in space, possibly on her way to the Sword Station to meet with Nick Fury, who has shown up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So it's like they were getting back to the MCU. But this small little thing of the Darkhold, even if, like Andy says, it could look different based upon who holds it, it still kind of, I think, severs Marvel TV from the MCU.
I'm not even saying it's based on who holds it. I'm saying it's based on whatever it wants, because it's the Book of the Damned, and it's magical, and it's got its own thing, and apparently there's a whole chapter dedicated to the Scarlet Witch. But so the Darkhold can be anything. It's a magical book of magical power. It can look like anything. It can be anything. However, it's like in comics. Whatever the artist wants to do, whatever direction the artist wants to take it, that's what it can look like. So, like, it can be very stylized, I think. It's a stylistic choice.
So it's like a magical option for anything. Like, you can just, anything you want to explain away, make this book do it, is what you're saying. Like, it can be like...
where did you learn that? Oh, I learned it from the Darkhold. Or how did that happen? Ooh, the Darkhold has magical curse powers on it, and if you do this with the Darkhold, this will happen.
So, like, any inconsistencies can be just explained away with this book.
Or magic in general. That's why magic is really tough to write. Like, one of the things I didn't super love about this episode was the Wanda Agatha fight had some good moments, but it was also a lot of zap, zap, zap. Let's just float in the air and shoot the special effects at each other. And it's I mean, in Infinity War with Doctor Strange pulling out all these fancy ass tricks to try to beat Thanos.
Yeah,
that's a cooler way to depict magic. This was a little bit lackluster in that regard, but it is also not really the focus of the whole show, so it doesn't really derail it for me. There's just there was some times where it was like, all right, another energy goes, you hit me with energy, but I'm going to hit you with energy.
yeah. I did feel that a little bit, but really it was just like, for me, it was just like, well, one is going to win. One is going to be the ultimate one. Who's going to be?
Right.
But, so I have a bunch of questions.
But the how is interesting.
So,
but the other thing about this this post-credit scene is like there's the Darkhold, so she's astral projecting. One, she's in a remote mountain cabin somewhere, and the Wendigo Mountains is where she was raised by the cow lady in the comics. So there's a small chance that could be inching us towards having the cow lady, but I don't see what relevance she'd have now.
Cow person is coming for sure. That's your biggest.
That's my huge prediction is that the big bad of the whole Phase 4 is going to be Bova, the cow lady from the Wendigo Mountains. No.
Perfect.
But so she's drinking coffee in a nice cottage, chilling by herself. Also, astral projecting and learning all sorts of shit about dark magic.
Yeah, so that's what I originally was going to ask. Like, we think that's her getting more powerful, learning more magic.
It's her studying what her power
leveling
is,
up.
Learning what her power is. Yeah, she's leveling up, and then she hears the Darkhold being connected to Mephisto, like Art said, and then that's where she hears the voices of her children again. So she's studying the Darkhold. She hears the voices of her kids. And in the comics, those kids were somehow fractal shards of Mephisto's soul.
Did you just say fractal shards of Mephisto's shell? Wait,
soul.
Fractal shards of Mephisto's soul.
I cannot explain it any further than that because, again, this is a weird magical concept in comic books that these are the kind of things that you go, oh, of course. Oh, just fractal shards of someone's soul. That's fine. That's something you just
You
roll
don't
with in
question
comics.
it in the comic book world. It all works.
Like, okay, I see what you're doing there. So this, like,
just so
Darko's connected to
happens
Mephisto.
that
Her kids are
Fractal
connected to
Shards
Mephisto.
of Mephisto's Soul is the name of my next album.
I could easily be an album already by I can't think of a good metal band's name.
Fractal
Death Blood, the
Shards
Curse of
Rancid.
the Ancients.
Rancid. There you go. Boom. Art Star with the reference.
Rancid's more punk than metal.
Oh, Andy and Art Star do not get along.
Maybe I should shoot some fractal energy at him.
So Art brought up some things that he really threw in some things that I have questions about and confused about.
Okay.
So, and you may have answered this in previous things, but you talked about Ghost Rider in with this book.
Not Nicolas Cage.
Not Nicolas Cage,
there,
but
there are two Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider movies that are not very good and are not MCU.
Right. But is there one in the MCU?
If you count the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as the MCU, which it was really trying to count itself as the MCU, but the MCU has never really given them the time of day, acknowledged them in any of the movies.
Wait, hold on.
So
I gotta shut my garage door. Hold on. Hold on.
What makes the belief in the Yeti so strong? It's the Yeti footprints that were photographed by British explorer Eric Shipton in 1951.
Oh. Where it's like, yeah, there's a little chupacabra over here. Here's Bigfoot. There's a big...
Little Fiji mermaid over here.
Yeah, here's a Loch Ness Monster.
Because of an agreement between the USSR and America to exchange wheat for Soviet citizens who wished to defect.
It's like a terrible Settlers of Catan.
It is.
Traded wheat for
Okay,
Yakov Smirnoff.
I'll give you 2 wheat and 1 brick for an 80s comedian. Sorry, let me grab my friend here. Chunt, you want to say something? Oh yeah, baby. You can email me. I'm a little shapy-shifty. And you can email me at chunt@gmail.com with 6 T's.
Yeah, 6 T's. That's right. Chunt the fucking magic. Yeah, baby. Bing bong.
Bing bong. Say bing. In Russia, goodbye is hello. Shit, now we have to start a new episode.
Download and subscribe to American Timelines by History for Jerks.
Is that your sound filler?
I know my parents love me.
See, good.
What was happening? This is the first time I've had to open my garage door while recording a podcast, so I'll figure out how to edit.
We were doing some interstitial music while you were opening.
Oh, that's great. So you said if I count the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., then there is a movie with Ghost Rider that's in the MCU.
No,
not a movie.
All right.
A show.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was, going back to the roots, ABC show that came on right after the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
And positioned itself to be a TV show that ran along concurrently with the MCU as it happened.
Yeah.
As a new movie dropped, the show would react to whatever happened in that movie the next week. Yeah, and they were really close to the thing, and they were trying to be a thing, but there were 2 different departments in Marvel Studios. There was the movie guys and there was the TV guys.
Yeah.
And the movie guys were not entirely thrilled that the TV guys were doing their thing without really... They wanted to be a part of the big leagues, but the big leagues were like, we might want to use these concepts that you're using.
Toys.
Yeah. I don't know. There was some kind of conflict there. I don't think Kevin Feige really loved the TV world. So the movies never really acknowledged the TV show, although they did, like Nick Fury, Sam Jackson did a guest appearance or 2 on there.
Oh.
Sif, Lady Sif from the Thor movies, the first 2 Thor movies at least, showed up there for like a story arc.
Oh,
but that's about as much as happened.
So that I feel like that connects them. But you don't think so? What about?
But I don't think the movies are beholden to the continuity of the TV shows.
Yeah,
I think the movies can do whatever they want, and then it's up to the nerds to try to figure out how the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. pieces fit
to win a prize.
But yeah, so Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. eventually kind of realized that they weren't going to get anything from the MCU, so they kind of went off in their own direction and say, we're just going to write whatever we want. And went off in so they had their own Ghost Rider. show up in that series.
In Agents of
They
S.H.I.E.L.D.?
used the Robbie Ray as Ghost Rider.
Yeah, and there's a newer version of Ghost Rider that was kind of invented in the last 10 years or so, named Robbie Reyes, who didn't have a motorcycle. He had a really kick-ass Dodge Charger looking kind of General E car, except it was like a big muscle car it was a black car with a fiery engine and stuff. Yeah.
So this frustrates nerds, I'm gathering.
I think nerds are fine with it by now. The S.H.I.E.L.D. show is...
I think it's just... S.H.I.E.L.D. is S.H.I.E.L.D., MCU is MCU.
But you're not mad
there
about
have been rumors
Are you mad
lately,
about it, Tiffany?
I'm not mad about it. I just... So I watched some of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I was like, I don't know where this is going. This is dumb. But I'm also a human who gives up on things very easily. I will admit that. I will give up on things.
I won't give up.
Pretty easily.
I can't give
now,
up.
if I'm irritated for 2 seconds, I'm like a tap out. So just listen. I left many a Broadway shows at intermission because I was like, no, thank you. So
I don't know why that cracks me up.
I wasn't angry. I also know that I am very impatient. And so for me, and remember I told you guys last time, I don't watch a lot of screen time, right?
Yeah, right.
So if I'm, or TV time, I'm not going to say screen because I work on a computer and I have a phone. I don't watch a lot of TV itself. So if you aggravated me and you're taking up my precious TV time, damn you, I could be watching a Christmas movie.
Well, that's it. It's not worth my time. Yeah, that's why I stopped watching football as much because I'm like, I don't have time to be disappointed by this team. Like, halfway through this, look, you know what? I'm not following you. Yeah, I'll watch it if I find out you won. I'll go watch the game and enjoy it. But I don't want to.
You can look at scores and recaps.
I don't want to spend 3 hours invested in this game for you to let me down. I'm a grown man. I don't need to be let down by you. So I'm not like I'm out. But I will enjoy it when you win and just pretend I was with you all along.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's
anyway.
No reason.
Art, but what about so Art said? But Art, you said you won't give up on it. So you keep investing more time in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and.
Well, I've just done, but I stuck, like, once they started going off the rails, I stuck with them. It was like one of those things because I'd already invested the time.
Yeah, you feel like you gotta keep going.
I'm gonna go ahead and and it's one of those things, like, there's so many things out there nowadays. It's easy to, like, not have to sit there and watch it when it comes on.
Yeah.
Like, let's say sometimes I'll even now, like, some things I'll watch. I may watch like I watch Black Lightning. Anyway, I watch Black Lightning, but like let's say if it comes on Monday,
I gave up on that.
I may not watch it Monday. I may wait till I got like 2 episodes to watch, or I may watch like I want to watch something.
It's not high
Thursday. Like, oh yeah, I ain't watched Black Lightning for Monday, so that's when I watch it. But it's like because I kind of like invested, like I wanna. It's like I wanna like if I started the book. I want to finish it and not just like, okay, I know this, and then lo and behold, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, what if it gets good again? Like I've had instances where I started watching the show and I let the show go, and then, or like let's say I was watching, everybody like, yeah, I'm not watching that show, and then I stopped watching it, and then everybody talking about it now, like, oh, that show's awesome. I'm like, yeah, but when I gave up on it, like now it's like I'm 5 seasons behind. Like, yeah, I'm not watching that. Like, I had Supernatural supposed to have been a really good show. Too many I watched like 2 episodes in the first season. They got the season 16. Too many damn episodes.
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of time. Like, if I do have that kind of time, the fact that I'm sitting there spending so much time on that, I could be being more productive. So it's like,
Yeah.
But then certain things, I just, like the nerd in me sometimes just won't let them go.
Right.
Yeah.
I get that. I think I've said this before, but like there are certain shows that you only like just enough to see what happens in the next episode.
Yeah.
Like that was a lot of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for me. There were some cool bits, there were some interesting moments, but there was also a lot of time where I'm like, all right, okay, so that's what happens. Oh, I mean, I can see where someone would think that part was funny.
And it's just background noise. Like I was like, okay, I may say I saw that episode, but it was like I was doing something else, and it was background. Like even how like Joe used to you don't watch football. Like sometimes I would be having on ESPN or whatever. A game would be on, and I know it's on, but I'm totally doing something else. I'm on the phone.
Sure, yeah.
I'm playing a game or something.
Yeah.
But it's still in the background.
It's like background noise, yeah. Well, that's the thing. There's so much out there now. Like, there's so many shows and streaming and movies, and there's just so much to catch up on in the world. Like, greatest movies of all time. You know, there's just so much that, you know, if it's not good, I don't have time to waste on you.
And that's a great thing about being a nerd now. Because being a nerd then, you had to see every nerd-related thing that was translated into movies, and or you had to support them and let the studios know that there's a market for this. And you had to watch every goddamn thing they put out, no matter how shitty it was, because you didn't want there to be no more. Like,
just to support the nerd culture.
Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people who think that go to a lot of films with Nick Cage is like cult films, you know? Like, there are people who want to see, like, the whole... I guess Nick Cage at one point was supposed to be Superman.
Yeah.
And, like, there are people who was fiending for that. Just to see Nick Cage as Christopher Reeve. Not Christopher Reeve, as Clark Kent. Superman. Nick Cage. Superman.
There was a moment...
But I think...
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, to piggyback off Andy, not only is there more content for people now, but we live in a world of streaming, right? So if you want to go back to something, you can always go back to something. If you didn't catch it now, if you find yourself on vacation, not now because COVID, but and another time, if you're away for the weekend, you're like, you know what? This week I'm just going to watch this series. Cool, great. It's my entertainment when I'm not out and about. We live in a streaming time, and I think that makes things easier for you to like indulge in content because it's not going away. If it's on like ABC, NBC, you probably have to tune in so that the ratings go in. But if it's on a streaming service, it's going to be there for a minute.
ABC, NBC, you can tune in, but they'll still at the end of the day, you know, pull the plug. Like, I mean, like I say, like just like that shows I used to watch on like NBC. Like, these were awesome. They were shows that I think they were like before their time because they'll end up 10 years later making a show similar that goes on forever and ever. But like, you know, every shows where I was watching, like, okay, and it has like big name actors attached to it. Like, oh, this is a really good show. But like, we canceled it after one season because it didn't do as much. It did well, but it didn't do as well as we thought it would do. So let's just get rid of it.
True.
So
you used to have to just watch every old piece of crap if that had a nerd tinge on it. Like, so that's what's great now is that like everyone accepts that now. Nerd shit is cool. We can like every show has a weird sort of supernatural or superheroic or otherworldly sort of tint to it. Like, ooh, it's procedural, but there's aliens or something like that.
Right.
They're all over the place. So now we have the luxury of saying, you know what, I don't give a shit about that show, so I don't have to watch it. I don't feel compelled to watch it.
Okay, so that said, we pretty much covered WandaVision, the whole series. Comparative. I don't know if you want to like do a rating of it compared to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the other shows. Can we rate it or not? You can't rate it?
I wouldn't rate it against Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Thumbs up or thumbs down.
Let's do thumbs up or thumbs down.
And homie.
Yeah. I just like what it did for. I mean, and I probably am not even getting as much out of it as you guys because you've seen everything. And so it really plugs a lot more in for you guys. But for me, I was excited and on the edge of my seat for what was coming next and the way it was building, even just like you guys giving me some of this stuff. Like, so I feel like, I don't know about it as just an entertainment piece, but like for what it's doing and like I want more of this kind of thing where it's going, it's like connecting things, what it seems like it's doing. I want more of that. So I liked it. I had fun. Yeah.
I like being able to spend more time with characters than you can get in a movie that's packed full of them.
Yeah,
I like the focus on this, and once like you get over you watch the episode and there's like, oh, there was no big giant cameo here or anything, and you go, and that's fine. You take a minute to get over like, oh, I was hoping for this, but like what it is. And like, oh, I'm fine. I'm glad it's focused on these guys. We get to character build. We get to get more invested in these guys. So when they do show up in movies, they bring all this with them, and that you're familiar with. So like, there's a shorthand when they show up in the movie.
You got Evan Peters. You got Evan Peters and Kat Dennings and Jimmy Woo and Wasn't there another one? Tiana Paris. I mean, what's better?
But
that's
like,
like star-studded, isn't it? Like those are all big, important names, right?
Big characters. Tiana Paris this is like her first big thing, but I mean, like everyone was expecting the big last episode.
I mean, I'm talking about like the
somebody coming in.
I know I was like using
but this is great for.
Like, I meant the characters, like those characters.
Yeah, I love all the characters in this.
Are big,
and I'm very curious when we get to Age of Ultron, the second Avengers movie. When you're watching that, having seen this, how you're going to respond to that?
Oh, I can't wait too, especially because you guys were referencing that heavy. And I did
because the show was referencing that heavy,
right?
Because that's where both of these characters were.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that too. I can't wait to get into the rest of these movies now, especially now that I'm watching them in this new way of paying attention. I can't wait to watch them and understand what's happening.
Look at that.
Yeah, but
so 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, I don't know. So Andy, you liked it too?
You gotta let.
Yeah, I did like it. Like some people love it. And I'm like, no, I liked it. I enjoyed what it did. Some people hated it. And some people are
mad. Some people are mad about the ending, right?
Yeah, some people are mad about the Evan Peters only being a boner joke, but but that's
there's always
I'm fine
gonna be
with
people
that.
mad at everyone.
To those people, I say, get over it.
Well, you're the one that was making the analogy.
I wasn't mad.
Get some fresh air.
I wasn't mad. It's not to me like.
Get some fresh air.
A disappointment. So it's not like I mean, at the end of the day, it was a good show. I'll move on. You know?
Yeah, disappointment is different from nerd rage. Nerd rage is
like
what? Yeah,
as much as a nerd as I am, I don't have nerd rage. I can't even see myself having nerd rage. I'll get ticked off, pissed off about something, but. You know, I live in the real world. I know how to separate reality. Even as an artist, I know how to, separate reality from fiction. As crazy as I am, as weird as I am, I know how to live in the real. So,
and that's a moment of maturity. Like I used to be capable of nerd rage.
Yeah.
Just from reading comics. Like when shit would happen in comics that I didn't agree with.
You still have some nerd rage, Andy. Godzilla.
Like I said, like back in 1998, that Godzilla movie came out. I was so pissed at it that I started writing movie reviews that eventually became sort of a side career kind of thing. Like I just had to vent about how shitty that movie was. It's but there was a moment I want to say in like the late aughts, I think, when I got really pissed at comic books I was reading, and I realized I had to hit that wall and go, you know what? I think I need a break from comics entirely for a little while. Yeah. And that lasted like 3 months, and then I got a job where I had to actually review comics and talk about what's going on in comics. So I came back, but that break was very helpful to sort of get out of that live or die. If this doesn't happen the way I want it to, I'm pissed about it, or you've ruined the character. The kind of rage that I never went this far, but you can kind of tell if a comment is nerd rage if they sort of say, "Oh, that was a slap in the face" to longtime fans. Anytime anything is considered a slap in the face, it's like, you need to calm down, dude.
Yeah.
That was a writing choice. That wasn't a slap in your face.
I think, to Art and Andy, people forget that you are not being paid to make this damn movie. Okay? They got a whole team of people being paid to make this movie. Whether you agree with what direction, or write the comic, or write the book. Whether you agree with the direction or not, whether you've been in this game for 30 years, guess what? You were not consulted on these things. And there are things in the world happening, like racial injustice, human trafficking, other issues that you should probably tune into. Let's turn that rage into justice for real life people. Yes. And
there's a lot of nerd rage that is essentially just nerd entitlement, where you just like, I have been invested in this, therefore my opinion should matter more than
I own this because I am
right.
It's the whole like how some people have this vision of like, you know, I guess it's the customers always do what right, or you do this, or my taxes pay your salary kind of thing.
Oh,
so
yeah.
because of that,
Entitlement.
yeah,
Yep.
and because of that, you know, I want some good writing. I want to be able to, at the end of the day, have my nerd culture not ruined by your sick writing.
Yeah,
I do feel
like you can passionately dislike something,
right?
Yeah,
without viewing it as an imposition on you personally, without taking it personally.
Exactly.
You can just like, all right, this is going in a direction I don't like. I am going to push away. But again, this was back in the time where you kind of had to support all nerd shit.
Yeah.
So you get really invested, and so if you've been supporting nerd shit and suddenly it just veers off in a way you don't like a new creative team comes on that you hate, or has Rob Liefeld doing the art, then you can get real. I can see where you go about it, but you can't let that become a campaign of hate and anger and stuff. The closest thing on the flip side of that, generally a slap in the face is a sign of entitlement, but at the same time, we'll go towards the Star Wars direction, but The Last Jedi, a lot of nerds consider it a slap in the face.
Yeah.
But if you watch it, it's kind of shitting, like intentionally fucking with Star Wars, longtime Star Wars fans in a way that kind of almost feels like it's kind of slapping them in the face, trying to wake them up. Like, this isn't yours. You need to. We can go in different directions. We can do different things. It doesn't have to be exactly what you expect, and that didn't go over very well with a lot of nerds.
Yeah.
But it seemed like almost intentionally, not so much attacking, but just.
It was them standing their ground. We can do what we want. The end.
Yeah, you don't get to dictate the directions we go. And then what that resulted in was enough nerd rage that guy didn't get to do the next movie, and they brought J.J. Abrams in to sort of try to undo everything he did and make the nerds happy again, and which didn't work.
Yeah, everybody hates.
But yeah, that's nerd culture.
Yes,
that's
Tiffany.
some toxic areas of nerd culture that nerds need to grow out of. I needed to grow out of it, and I did.
So TBJ. So now, all that to say, Art, you liked it? Okay, TBJ. What did you think? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up for me.
Yeah, you were crying at the end. You had to like it.
Here's the thing. I love stories. I love stories of families. I love stories of families coming together. I'm really heartbroken when families have fractures. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a play. It could be a TV show. It could be a movie. Anytime there is loss in a family or something is happening, I'm gonna cry. And as soon as Vision said, "You're gonna fix it, but not for us," I was like, "God dang it! She gotta let him go." And then they started coming, and they kept going as she tucked her kids in. I was like,
"Oh yeah."
It took me. I cried. I ended up watching it. I had a work meeting at 12. I ended up watching it before the work meeting, which was a big mistake. Do not go into your work meeting at noon emotional because you watched the season finale of WandaVision. Because then you're like, I don't know, guys. I don't have any input. I love them building the relationships. I'm okay with her brother not being her brother and them just making a nod to an actor.
Yeah.
Because I think, I said it in the beginning, they made this show about Wanda and Vision, and it stayed about Wanda and Vision with touches of Monica and Wu and Trash Dude. But at the end, it was a show about Wanda and Vision.
Yeah.
And it ended as a show about Wanda and what's next.
Can I play devil's advocate real quick? And only reason I'm saying this, listen, it's like it's not necessarily. I don't want to say devil's advocate. I'm just sitting there saying like you're saying this is about Wanda and Vision. So it's also about family, right? Whereas the other characters were like other characters. Peter is family, like her kids, they're family. Even though it wasn't her brother, it still was her blood.
Yes, I'm not against that. I like that they just nodded because we know what happened to her brother already in the MCU. So I like that they didn't make it a big thing. I like that it was a part of the Agatha storyline. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was a part of her grief story, and they haven't mentioned Pietro since Age of Ultron. He hasn't even been touched on. We haven't even seen. Yeah, we never really got to see her grieve, other than that burst at the end of initially happened. So this plays into her trauma, her entire life of trauma. That we're sort of getting into her psychology, and Pietro was a big part of it, and they couldn't really be complete without bringing him in some fashion, and I like the way they did.
Letting her grieve in a different way. Thanks for having my back, Andy.
Oh, I got your back.
Because Art's trying to poke holes in what I'm saying. First of all, reminder that I didn't talk during your thumbs up or thumbs down of this. Okay. Somehow, when it's my turn to get my rating.
I totally forgot I said thumbs up because there was a whole lot of exposition. And then Joe came back with so Tiff, your review. So I'm just saying, doing mine, there was a whole thing going on. It's okay. It's all right.
I do want to...
I'm not trying to poke holes. I'm just trying to sit there. I'm piggybacking onto your theme of family.
I'm still speaking, sir.
I do want to...
You guys need some counseling. No,
we don't.
Nerd
Art needs to just leave me alone.
Nerd counseling.
If he just leaves me alone, I'll be fine.
So I wanted to mention that one line, the last thing she says to her kids is, "Thank you for choosing me to be your mom."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What do we think that means?
We know. Well, she didn't have Vision's babies, obviously, because Vision cannot produce. Yeah. And so that pathway to motherhood is different for her. Mm-hmm. And so I think I think that's a moment where she acknowledges, this is a construct. This isn't mine. These kids exist. They exist because we know they exist later. But now we know that it's not all, it's not what we think it is.
It's like a cosmic thing.
So where did their choice come in, do you think?
I don't know.
It's like
in
my theory.
But I think moms say that, though. I'm a mom, and I think I say that to my kids all the time.
Yeah, moms do say that.
I've said it to my kids before. I think that's also a mom thing without reading too much into it. I've heard other, thanks for choosing me to be your mom because, we mix some DNA, but we don't know what personality is about to come up in that joint. Or we adopt, and we don't know what personality is about to come in that joint. And kids are brutally honest or not. Some attach, some don't attach. Some are down for you. Some could care less and are just counting down to 18. So I think, without digging too deep, I think that's also just something that I've said before to my children. I've know other moms who've said that. I've written it to my children,
And that's
although they didn't technically choose me.
That's a common thing when they, when you look in reincarnation stories and people that, I got down this whole rabbit hole on YouTube of children who have memories of a past life, and they dig it up, and it's this actually happened. How would this 3-year-old know about this? And the kids often say, "I chose you to be my mom. I made this decision."
Or think about the movie Soul, right? The movie Disney Soul came out you were a being, but your soul came from somewhere else.
I haven't watched that yet. So, I heard it's good.
Okay. Sorry.
Can I ask a couple quick questions and make it it's brief as an answer as possible? I don't need an in-depth answer on these, but just kind of as brief as possible so we can wrap up. What the hell is The Runaways?
It's a show that there were a couple of Marvel shows on Hulu that may or may not be a part of the MCU. The Runaways, they did Cloak and Dagger. Oh, yeah. They did a show called Hellstrom that apparently nobody liked. Based on a couple of Satan's kids, Mephisto's children, Damien Hellstrom and Satana Hellstrom, and so I've watched the first season of Runaways, and it was pretty decent.
It was good.
I watched about half the first season of Cloak and Dagger.
Art, you've seen all these?
It's pretty slow, but it's still good.
Yeah, Cloak and Dagger was awesome.
Was it?
They canceled it. I don't know.
And they did cross over with each other. Cloak and Dagger and the Runaways
Cloak
crossed
and
over with
Runaways.
each other.
They were all basically they were like teens. So it was like teen.
Was Runaways good?
Superheroes. Like the Runaways, like their parents are like evil, but then the kids, they're good. So it's almost like parents fighting kids kind of
But
thing.
are these all, like, is Runaways a comic book too?
Yeah, The Runaways was a really popular, like a well-received, critically acclaimed comic book by, I believe it was Brian K. Vaughan was the writer.
Okay, all right, that's enough.
And
that's enough.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of time to get really into it. We'll talk about it later. I mean, just because we've been going for a while, we got to wrap up. But that's what I guess I wanted to find out if that's worth my time checking out, or if, but it might not be in the MCU, so it's not something we'll cover here probably. Unless we just go on forever.
They might show up.
We'll probably go into a tangent about it at some point.
That'll be good, and we'll do that when we have more time. And then another question, Tiffany, this one's for you. Is this friend that you're talking about WandaVision with, has this friend listened to Nerd School? And when is this friend going to rate, review, and subscribe?
She has, and I will ask her to go rate, review, and subscribe.
And
for you.
Is Art Star her favorite character on this podcast?
No, not even close. I tell her things about art. She agrees with me about Star Wars, so art is automatically on her not okay list.
You know, at the end of the day, the Force shall set me free.
No, if you say so.
My prediction is still that
I'll tell her. But everybody else, tell all your friends to rate, subscribe,
and we need to also.
And like.
I'm just saying, like, I think Art Star might be the highest selling action figure when the Nerd School action figures come out. Like, I think the Art Star one might be.
You keep making his head bigger and bigger and bigger, and he will never come down.
I feel like if we were a show in the Star Wars continuity, I'd be doing my thing, right?
Yeah.
And Tiff would be steady sitting there hunting me down, you know, trying to take me out because of the force. The Force wants me gone because I might just be too powerful somewhere in the future. And yet here she is hunting. She's like Cable in Deadpool 2. You know,
I don't hunt you down. I'm doing my own thing.
Being a Sith Lord that I am, you know,
jabs and throws,
conquering people,
jabs and throws,
doing things, and here she is.
I love
here
this.
she is hunting me down, trying to take me out.
This is what the podcast is. This is what sells it. This is what we're here for. This is my favorite part. I love it. I don't know why I love it so much.
Just noting what I'm wearing today, so Art Star has a clear vision of where I stand and where I always stand.
Baby
That's
Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Not Baby
Is
Yoda.
that Yoda or Jammies?
What's his name? Umlaut?
Grogu.
Yoda?
Grugo?
Oh, what were you saying?
Grogu.
Okay, so that was a lot, and I mean I have a lot to like research and look up now because you guys said a lot. Even that last thing you just said, Deadpool 2 and Kate, is that already out? Is that a movie that's already out?
Yeah, Deadpool and Deadpool 2 are two movies that are out.
I think I saw the first one. Is this in the MCU?
Not. It was part of the X-Men universe. Over at Fox, but MCU is making a Deadpool 3.
It is.
So, yeah.
It's going to be rated R.
Well, weren't they? I know Deadpool was rated. They were all rated R, right? They were real dirty and stuff.
Yeah.
My head is
got
swimming.
Ryan Reynolds in it,
which means I think it's time to end.
I can't believe you haven't seen Deadpool 2 though. Like,
I didn't. I got kids, and so it's like a lot of that action hero stuff I watch with them, and so if I can't watch, like the first one, I didn't know. I didn't know that wasn't for kids, and I started watching. I was like, wait a minute, what the hell? My wife was like, what's in? You know, I was like, turn it off. Oh, so
I feel like your personality would mesh well with Deadpool. So for me, you would like Deadpool 2. Deadpool in general would be like the perfect alter ego for you.
Well, I got a list.
Break the fourth wall, but he says some of the craziest things. You know, and he does and he does his whole, like, there are things where, like, you know, a lot of meta commentary in his movies.
Is it
like,
on? Is it on Disney Plus? Can I see it on Disney Plus?
I think so. Maybe not yet. Maybe
on Disney Plus.
Well, my head is swimming with things I need to see, like Runaways
You should
and
definitely
Cloak and Dagger and Ghost Rider, and so I need to know, like, what do I need to see first? Like, if I'm not,
Deadpool 2. You just see Deadpool 2 first.
Do I need to go back and watch Deadpool 1?
Probably.
Understand Deadpool 2?
Probably.
If you weren't paying attention in any movie, I'm going to recommend you go back and watch
think Deadpool 1, I think I turned it off in the middle of it because I was like, oh my God, this is filthy. I didn't know this, you know. Or whatever.
Don't watch it with your children.
Anyway, so you guys got my head, like, my brain hurts from trying to understand all this right now. So I think we need to stop, and I think there's enough is there anything else we need to say about WandaVision? Did I leave anything out? Did anybody not get
it was an excellent movie.
Yeah. This was great.
Or a TV show.
I mean, thank you guys for helping me understand it, I guess. And I feel like I got more out of it because of you nerds.
Good.
So
that's what we're here for.
All right, TBJ, you take us out this time. You end this episode.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Okay, Andy, Art started the last one, I think, or one of the last ones that I recorded, and so Andy, take us out.
Follow us on the Instagrams, and also rate, review, and subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts. Make sure your pockets are protected.
Nerds roll. Excelsior! Oh, my glasses are broken.
My pocket is protected.
Okay.
Rap about the president no more, but evidently they don't see we in the streets still poor. Still more incarceration of my kinsmen by the prisons, and people thinking this election to end racism. Proud over pessimism, glad to see Obama, but don't expect me not to speak out when I still see problems.
The Nerd Skool Podcast.
Nerd Skool is a member of the Queen City Podcast Network, powered by Ortho Carolina. Now offering video visits so you can take control of your orthopedic care from the comfort of your home. Schedule online at orthocarolina.com. Ortho Carolina, you improved.